Welcome back to the waters of Leith. I'm your host, Hedge, and we are jumping straight back into part 2 of our case file, Stone of Scone. It is the next morning. You've all had a fairly terrible night's sleep in the spare rooms at the manse. Rhodri, you're sitting there with your coffee in the morning. Nate is playing some kind of game on his phone beside you. You haven't seen Isabelle yet, and you are trying to get yourself in a fit state to go and speak to Forth today. But there is a problem, which is that you have also been summoned to go and speak to Nogash. Someone needs to go and speak to Nogash, and it's apparently about the Republican agitators.
Bugger. I don't think I can not go and speak to Forth. That would be very rude, you know. You're building up relations and things, and... right,
You're not going to get yourself killed if you go there on your own, are you, sir?
No, God, no. You know me, I'm...
That's why I'm worried, sir.
Considered one of the... Oh, right. Isabelle. Again, trying to whisper, but definitely not whispering. What about Nathan, you know? Do you think he should be on Team Nogash, or do you think he should be on Team Lady of the Fourth, do you know?
I think you probably ought to take him with you, sir. Largely because I don't think Captain Nogash is going to want to see your face.
And you know, be good for him and a show of faith and investment in us, and very good. So you'll be all right with Nogash, will you?
Well, I mean, that's anyone's guess, isn't it, sir? Might I suggest you have a word with the Duchess about appropriate gifts for Lady Forth before you go?
That's a very good idea.
I'm not sure Walker's petticoat tails are going to cut it, sir.
Darling!
Oh, hello.
I was of the understanding that you needed some assistance. I can give you excellent recommendations. I know all of the most up-and-coming places. It is the 19th century after all.
All right, Duchess, thank you. We're going to pop off, you know. We're going to go and see Lady of the Fourth, you know.
Oh, the Lady of the Fourth herself. How wonderful. You should bring her a little bit of snuff, don't you know? She loves the stuff, can't get enough of it. It's all the rage these days.
Oh, right, all right. You know, I was thinking Welsh cakes.
Welsh cakes.
Welsh cakes, surely
Like the little...
The dead fly cakes, sir.
That's right, you know, from Wales.
Not snuff for priceless painting, or perhaps a diamond the size of your head. You were going to go with some cakes from a backwater country that no one has cared about for 1,000 years.
Now you're right, Duchess. Now have a word with yourself.
Sir, we are in the Duchess's house. Sir, I don't suppose we could get hold of any of that tea from the ghost train?
And she just flies away again.
Well, that sounds like a bloody good idea there, Isabelle, you know. I tell you what, let me get Lennox on the phone, shall we, and see if we can get a bag of tea and that.
I think a nice chest of tea. Yes, a nice ornamental box of tea. Don't set anything on fire, and I'll catch up with you later.
Right.
And she's just going now before it gets completely out of control.
As she leaves, Rhodri, it occurs to you, you know someone who will definitely have some really, really good tea.
Oh, God.
And he owes you a favour.
Oh, Leith owes me a favour because I spoke to Robert the Bruce. Nathan, you've met some characters, haven't you, like Hudson and that? I think it's time, you know, we treat you to a bit of a tour, you know. Let's go see my friend, Leith.
Nathan has been buried in his phone this entire time, has his earbuds in, playing the new Angry Birds, I don't know, and finally realizes there's activity going on around him and shuts it off. So, where are we off to?
We're going to go see Leith. You know Leith?
I haven't met, but
You're aware.
have some greetings to pass along from some of the rears back home.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I'm sure he'd be very willing to hear those. I've got to have a little conversation with him. He's going to help us out, get a little gift for the Lady of the Fourth. So put your little game box away and let's get going, shall we?
Brilliant. Isabelle, you have found yourself up in the Scotland headquarters, which is opposite Fetty's College, very modern building, a few miles away. And you make your way through various locked doors. There's uniforms everywhere. You just feel a calming feel of returning to a little bit of sanity after the last couple of months of madness. And as you do, you step into a slightly nicer looking room, and then a slightly nicer looking room, and then a really nice looking room. And then you step into Nogatch's office, and it is not a nice looking room. It is a simple, barely furnished room with just the most basic ascetic furniture possible. It has large open windows letting in beautiful light, but there is not a lot here. But everything that is here is impeccably high quality. There is a good quality oak desk with a laptop on it that is open, and a good quality no-nonsense chair, which Nogatch is sitting in, typing away on her laptop. You stand to attention in front of her. She looks up at you. She twirls her pen in her hand, and she closes her laptop. Good. Better you than that fucker. Would we have a problem?
Yes, Mum.
People significantly more powerful than me have made it abundantly clear to me that we are to charge those children from last night. They are to be treated with the full letter of the law for breaking an entry and attempt to destroy government property. I think I can convince them not to make us go for treason,
Oh,
but it's not looking good.
Mum, I think we really do need to make sure that we don't go for treason. I have a horrible feeling that's only going to make matters worse.
There is
Yes, Mum, sorry.
an activist, Tavish Roseford. They are the ones that are responsible for the incident last night, although they themselves were not one of the 4 people who attempted to do the work. They are the chairperson of the local Scottish Republican group. We brought them in for questioning. I don't know who they are, I don't know what they are, but I've actually checked out your scores, and your work in interrogation was actually quite impressive. Would make sure there's not a magical connection here.
Will do, Mum.
And you step out of the office and head down towards the cells. Rhodri, you are walking up to your favourite building, the Banana Flats, with Nate Reed in tow. And you are both staring at the blank piece of wall on the top floor. You've kind of done that thing where you've brought him up and you've looked at Nate, and then you've looked back at the wall, and you've looked at Nate, you're back at the wall, and he hasn't reacted.
Right, well, best foot forward, and then through.
You watch Nate as Cadwallader falls through a brick wall.
This seems absolutely perfectly normal to Nate, and he follows along.
The 2 of you stumble into the den of the Water of Leith. It's the pig!
Hello, Leith, hello.
Who's the giant?
Right.
What the fucking feed you, pal?
Quite a lot of everything.
Oh, he's a yank! Why did you bring me a yank? What's he for? 2 tricks. Hey, yank, stand in your heat. Give me a power roll.
It's 38 under 60.
There is a movement and a going towards turning upside down. You stop. You stand up straight. And you look back at him. Oh, yes!
I see why Hudson speaks highly of you.
You know, 250 years ago, he and I got so pissed that, well, I'm not going to lie to you, the Bronx hasn't recovered yet. I'll tell you what, those were the days. Anyway, pick. Oh,
Right, yeah.
oh, let me tell you. Fixed it.
All right. What?
You know how you stole my beautiful train?
I mean, stole is a big word, you know, but I'm aware that there is a...
I don't need it anymore.
That's fantastic now, isn't it? Because then it's not a problem, is it?
No, not a problem. Solved it.
Right. Well, how did you solve that then? I'm intrigued. I mean, you man of many talents.
No telling you, Pip, you'll steal that too.
Right. No, you're right.
I'll tell you this. Not in your jurisdiction. Ha ha ha. You spelled jurisdiction, pig. Ha ha ha.
Well, you know, that's good. That's something we don't have to worry about then, isn't it? You and I, you know, in our growing relationship and, you know, helping each other. And, oh, speaking of helping each other, Mr. Leith, you know, I managed to speak to that man you've not been very happy about, Robert the Bruce.
Bruce?
That's right, yeah.
You spoke to Robert Bruce?
I sternly spoke to him, I think it's fair to say. I gave him a piece of my mind, I did.
You?
Well, yeah, I did. I said, have you been messing around with my friend Leith, because he's not happy with you. And I said that you had said that he needs to give reparations.
Give me a social roll here.
26 under 30.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, because lying to a genius like guy is always a good way to go.
It's bending the truth. It's how Rhodri remembers the event.
Uh-huh.
See, pig, because the way I heard it was you squealed like a little piggy, burned a fucking church down, and then with your tail between your legs, you ran all the way home.
I think it's fair to say I was a little bit scared, because, he was a ghost and he came back and then I was trying to be diplomatic,
And he slaps you on the back so hard that you go stumbling forward. I'm only fucking with you. I took balls, pig. I like you. I like you a lot.
Right, I like you too, Leith, And, I thought because we've been such friends, because I like you too, Leith, I did, and I appreciate everything we're doing for each other, but, I was looking to get my hands on a good bit of quantity of that tea, Do you remember off your train you had that wonderful tea?
He looks at you and he suddenly goes from the chaos spirit to a very focused sort of stare and he says, what's in it for me?
Well, I'm aware we have this open relationship, don't we, where we keep helping each other because we both have the same interests in keeping this place as magically organized as possible for the benefit of everybody. Was there anything that you would propose that you would like? I could have my friend here, Mr. Reed, pass on a good message over to America for you. Must be difficult getting your message over to your old friend, Hudson.
He stares at you for what feels like a very long time. And then he snaps his fingers and a chest falls basically out from a wall, lands in front of you, opens up. It's a fairly small thing, easily carried by a single person, full of just the most amazing scented tea. This isn't in tea bags. This is literally just full on Indian tea here. And he goes, Pig, come back to see me in 24 hours. I'll have a wee job for you.
All right, okay.
I know exactly what I need. Now get the fuck out of my building.
Right, Nathan, I think that's our cue to go now.
Nathan hangs behind for just a moment. He's sort of guessing about what's going on with the conversation because neither side was he able to really follow along. Thank you for your cooperation. And he gives Leith a flask with an etching of the Staten Island ferry on one side, passing along the gift he was given.
All right.
I think Hudson remembers that night 200 years ago too. And then he's going to follow along.
Isabelle, you step into a acerbic grey room smelling of disinfectant with a young man with pretty wide shoulders sitting handcuffed to a chair which is bolted to the floor. There is no table in this room.
I take the seat opposite him.
Do I even get a lawyer?
Do you need a lawyer, Mr. Roseford?
Am I being detained?
On a potential count of treason, yes.
Then I think I shouldn't see anything until I have a lawyer. He sort of leans back in his chair.
Do an IVA.
Go for it.
That was a 12 out of 70, so that's a hard success.
You'd have missed it if you weren't looking for it, because he's not a magic user. He hasn't cast any magic, but there is a whiff. And it's a whiff that you have been looking for days. The scent of soap. The stroke of a pen.
Well, Mr. Roseford, you are in a lot of trouble. And I don't mean about this whole stone thing and you encouraging your little friends to break into the cathedral and cause criminal damage and potentially completely ruin their lives because you're having your strings pulled by something that you probably have no idea what the hell you're dealing with.
We consulted extensively about our march. We have proper permits. We have explained in great depth where we would be and what we would be doing, and we were at absolute pains to make sure that we have not broken a single law.
So, being an accessory to theft, criminal damage to the cathedral. Yeah, and I can see how that's not breaking the law.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, of course you don't. So, who's actually in charge of that little operation last night? Who put you up to it? Who is going to get your little companions locked away for the rest of their lives if they're not lucky, while you walk off scot-free? Do you have a conscience? I mean, you claim to have a conscience.
Oh, I like this. Hard social roll.
Oh, God. No, that's a fail. I could spend 35 points of luck to make it a hard social roll, but that's a lot of luck.
He basically just smiles at you.
There are an awful lot of people who are going to be very upset with you, Mr. Roseford. And when I say people, I don't entirely mean people.
We're not in the US. Corporations aren't people. What is this, some silly joke?
No. Oh, Mr. Roseford, you have absolutely no idea.
Oh, actually, on that, give me a read person. This is a great moment for a read person.
Oh, God, it's not because my read person's terrible. She's awful at it. Oh, my good night. I made it. That's 23 out of 30.
Beautiful. Yeah, the realization that you were just having, he has no idea what you're talking about. He's a kid. He's pretty sure that he's not technically broken any laws. He feels very, very confident. And when you start talking about like people who aren't people, nothing. This guy has no idea what you're talking about. He has no idea of the world of magic. He is definitely hiding something.
Mr. Roseford, you are a very small fish in a very large pond. And I mean that both literally and metaphorically speaking. You are being used, and the person using you is going to sell you down the river faster than you can say petticoat tails. I'll do what I can for you, but you're going to have to tell me who put you up to this and where they are.
So it'll be a pushed social roll, but you only need a regular success.
My social's not bad. Come on, dice. Please, or you're going in the dice jail again. That is 35 out of 60, and I will spend the luck if I need to make it hard.
There's a really cool thing that could happen if you spend the luck here, so I reckon you go for it.
Okie dokie.
As you say that, I think there are some files, and I think what you do is you just pull the file, and it's the CCTV image of the 4 people running towards throwing the stuff at the thing. And he's like, what is this? This, no, this, look, no. We were going to boo really loudly when he sat on the stone. That was our plan. We were going to boo really loudly. The lady with the brown eyes, the police officer, she said it would be fine. She even told us how we would get in there. She said that there were people who thought it would be fine. All we were going to do is we were going to boo really loudly. We wanted to get on BBC. That was the plan. I don't know what this is. No. I'm going to jail.
There's a very strong possibility you're going to go to jail. Unless you tell me where I can find that police officer and what else she said you could do.
So he's been meeting her. She's been coming along to their meetings on a regular basis now for quite a long time. She is a police officer, but she said she was a police officer who was a Republican sympathizer. And she had been advising them on where they could go during the coronation to make the most noise and make sure they got behind the security cameras. And she said that that's where she would be and she'd let them pass. She matches the description of Patel. And apparently she is obsessed with anti-imperialist ideas. So she is talking endless about returning things from where they were taken, giving back things that were stolen, paying those who were hurt by past crimes. She apparently has an obsession with a diamond named the Kohinoor, because figuring out who it should go back to is in of itself fascinating, and she'll talk for hours on the subject. And he spills all these things about Patel that you never suspected for a second, but make absolute sense to you once you hear them.
Especially given what Mile told me. Okay, Mr. Roseford, thank you very much for your cooperation. It is appreciated. I'll put in a good word for you.
Isabelle, do you join Rhodri as he heads out to South Queensferry?
I'm going to report into Nogatch first and bring her up to speed with exactly what's gone on and warn her that Patel obviously knows where the security cameras are, what the plan is, and goodness knows what else she's actually got planned, given that it appears she's been behind those weird thefts on the Mile. She's been training the baby genius loci into doing naughty things to do with all of this anti-imperialist thing. And isn't the Kohinoor in the crown? Or is it in the sceptre?
It's currently set in the crown of Queen Elizabeth. It's not in Charles's crown.
Oh, good. She might not be going for the crown, Mum. She's really after the Kohinoor, but if she's on about returning things from where they were taken, that covers probably quite a lot of the crown jewels, to be honest, or the constituent parts.
You send word down to PC Grant down in London to take extra care to control the Tower of London and the crown jewels, but they are not being brought up here because the Scottish regalia will be being used up here.
And then I go to Queensferry to meet up with Rhodri.
South Queensferry is a beautiful little town 10 miles outside of Edinburgh. You travel set west. There are 3 bridges that cross from South Queensferry to North Queensferry. One was built in the 19th century. It is a giant cantilevered red fourth bridge. Trains cross it every day. The second was built in the 20th century and is a suspension bridge. At one point, one of the largest of its kind. It looks a little bit like the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's a dark, dull grey. And the third is the newest, the Queensferry Crossing. Beautiful, modern-looking thing. Absolutely gorgeous. Built in the 21st century, only opened a few years ago. And as you stand in the ancient high street of South Queensferry, you can see all 3 bridges as they dive out in front of you, crossing the River Forth. Forth South is small, a little blue door on a street that's probably 1,000 years old, sitting under a church bell that's probably 100 years old. As you look around, almost nothing on the street, probably less than 500 years old. It feels ancient. The connection that you feel to the Demimonde here, Rhodri, is so strong. This place feels powerful. It feels otherworldly. This is a place where unicorns could be walking down the street and no one would crack an eye.
I think it's the first time you've seen Nathan really bowled over by something, because he comes from a place where, 150 years ago is a long, long time for something to still be standing. So he's in a little bit of awe.
I think Rhodri probably quite visibly is seen to be kind of steeling himself a little bit, not under fear, but just because he knows, even just being in the presence of Forth, it's going to be a wild ride. There's going to need to be some significant self-control. So he's taking a moment to calm himself, center himself, think about his Newtonian training, think about his absolute poster boy and hero Nightingale. What would Nightingale do is going through Rhodri's head at the moment. Have we prearranged to meet Isabelle? Did we manage to catch her on the...
Yeah, Isabelle is with you. You all drove down together.
Perfect. So I imagine we've shared with Isabelle our very amicable and totally not ludicrous meeting with Leith with 0 consequences.
And he gave you no idea what it is he wants you to do, sir.
Well, it doesn't really work like that, you see, Isabelle. Sometimes you've just got to have a bit of faith and trust,
I'm afraid that's in very short supply at the moment, sir.
Right.
Speaking of short supply, are you two still driving around in a Golf?
It's a little red beetle, isn't it?
Red beetle?
I'm just reminding you that Nate is 6'6".
How the heck do we get you in it? Yes.
So he's folded in like an accordion.
Yeah, 100%. Knees up to your chest so far, you've got to push your head to one side. Nathan, you seem to be breathing quite heavily back there. Are you all right?
I told you we should have just taken the front seat out and let him sit in the back seat and stretch his legs out, sir.
It's a lovely little car. Don't want to hurt her. She's seen me through many a mile, she has.
It only would have been temporary, sir. We could put it back in again.
I think it's important that you invest in things. I'm trying to tell you something here, Isabelle.
There is an ancient blue door in front of you. There is no handle.
Isabelle takes a deep breath, squares her shoulders, and knows she's just going to have to get this over with because Rhodri's just going to faff for Wales, England, and Scotland. And she knocks firmly on the door.
An ancient-looking woman with silver hair answers the door. Are you here to see Mum?
Yes, we are.
Oh, lovely to meet you. I'm Almond. And she shakes your hand. Come on in, come on in. Mum's in a bit of a mood. Does want to see you. But just don't say anything silly.
I don't think there's any danger of that now. We'll be fine, don't you worry.
She gives you just a little smile, a little flick of the head.
Isabelle's watching her life flash before her eyes.
And the three of you are let in to a small parlour. It's a little odd because on the one hand, it looks exactly like a 300-year-old front sitting room in an upper middle class house would look. On the other, the window that would normally look out is about 10 times the size it should. And despite the fact that you haven't gone up the stairs, the view you have is much, much better and much more extensive than anything you could possibly expect in something that's not a skyscraper. You can look over the entirety of the Forth and you think you can see so far up the river one way that you're almost at Falkirk, and you look down the other way and you swear you can see the North Sea. From here, Forth can see the entire river. She is sat on a comfortable looking armchair, drinking a cup of tea with a blanket on her knees. Slightly elevated from you, maybe just 6 inches above. But it does mean that her eyes are very slightly higher than everyone's, even yours, Ned, as she looks down upon you all.
Ma'am.
Isabelle is curtsying.
Rhodri will bow. He's holding the chest as well. Gives a very formal bow.
Bring it and place it down.
There you go, my lady Forth. Right back to Isabelle's side.
Almond opens it up. Now, Rhodri, there's only one place you could have gotten something quite this high quality. How is the scamp?
Oh, he's as charming as ever, building up a bit of a mutual respect. No small part to your kind words, my lady.
That boy. Really, he should grow up one of these days, but I don't think he ever will. Almond and the old lady who let you in, and one of her sisters picks up the chest and takes it into a back room. And she sighs, Isabelle, darling, give me a power roll as she points her attention at you.
Oh, that's 33. 3 points off a hard success, and you know exactly what I'm going to say. Do I need to spend those 3 points of luck?
It's overwhelming. She feels like your grandmother, like you trust her and you love her. And she feels like every woman who's ever been on the farm, and she gets it, Isabelle. She gets the complexities of the modern world. She gets the desire for the simple life, but she still gets the desire to reject the simple life. The layers and the complexities of just being a woman in the modern world, they all wash over you at the same time. The frustrations and the anxiety and the fights and the desires all just come flying around, and you see peace when you see her, because she is exactly what you want to be and exactly what you wish to be. Strong, confident, capable, in charge without having to give up anything. But you're in control of your actions.
Mom,
How is the new job treating you?
it could be going better, Mom.
And how is it working for this child of chaos that is our Mr. Cadwallader?
I do fear for his safety, Mom. He does seem to put himself in unnecessary danger and harm's way.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. All the Newtonian boys are like that. I am quite well acquainted with his teacher, don't you worry. Lovely man, really, and I knew his teacher too. He was a good egg. And you, sir. Nate, give me a power roll. You're going to take a penalty die on this.
Ooh. So with the penalty die, that is a 70. Go ahead and spend 10 points of luck and make that a success.
Brilliant. You're going to experience the same thing that Isabelle experienced in terms of just this amazing, wonderful woman. But from your perspective, it's more like someone you look up to. You were raised in a fairly traditional manner in some ways, and you were always taught to do what Grandma said. And she gives you the exact same vibe. You can't lie to her, but you don't have to reveal all the truth to her. And what is the CIA doing in my drawing room?
First things first, ma'am. Greetings from Mississippi. And he's going to reach into his pocket and pull out a very fancy sealed envelope that just says 4th. I was told to pass this along.
One of the ladies on the side of the room takes it from you and hands it to Forth. What is the letter?
It is the Mississippi's very own secret recipe for sweet tea.
Oh, good one. Well done, Nate. She smiles, she nods, she takes it. And one of the girls runs into the back room where you're fairly certain a kettle is boiling and some sweet tea is about to be prepared. Now, we should probably get down to business. My coronation has been disrupted, and I don't like it. The child is not where he should be, and I would rather you all fix this as fast as possible.
Yes, Mum. I'm rather worried about the child. He seemed like such a sweet boy, but you see Patel, or whoever she actually is having an undue influence on him and is going to lead him into bad ways that could get him into an awful lot of trouble.
I don't know, Patel. Tell me more.
And Isabelle explains everything she knows and everything she's learned.
She nods along. She says, okay, so what is the next step, Miss Wood?
Find Mile. Make sure he's okay.
Well, we try not to interfere when we are not wanted, especially when the rivers do not align. As you can imagine, I do not align with the Mile. But I have had some feelers out. He left the city this morning. He crossed my bridges. That much I know, but I can't tell you anymore.
Thank you very much, Your Ladyship.
And now, if there's nothing else, I believe we have time for afternoon tea. Will the three of you stay?
I take it there is no obligation, Your Ladyship?
I would much rather you got to work. She smiles a big, big smile.
Then I'll just leave these here. These are Welsh cakes. No obligation, extra little present. I just thought they'd go really lovely with the tea, so I'll just pop them there for you, okay?
The whole room goes completely silent as 6 different rivers stare at Rhodri Cadwallader.
You will make sure you try one now. Very, very special to me, those are.
I think it's probably time to go now, sir. We do have a lot of work to do. We have a lot to put right.
Right. No, we've got a lot to do. We'd love to stay, but we've got to crack on, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Enjoy the tea, ma'am.
And the three of you are standing outside the home of the Lady Forth, and no one is dead. Congratulations!
Hey!
Hey, I gave it my best go.
I think that's a victory in and of itself.
You couldn't park directly here, so the Beetle's just down the road a little bit where the parking is. And as you're passing, you see this tiny little shop, which apparently sells coffee and ice cream. And so the three of you sit down inside this little place with what is fantastic coffee. And Rhodri, you can't help but get yourself one of these tiny little ice creams. And the three of you are sitting discussing what your next move is.
Well,
I'm not sure I am following entirely. The Mile is...
He's a young genii locorum,
but the boy.
a boy. We're not sure how old he is, but he was responsible for a series of, well, a theft and then a series of bizarre incidents shortly after, yes, Cadwallador arrived in the city.
One of them, Nathan, it was a boat in the air.
He stole a whole load of little trinkets from a gift shop and left them at the places that they represented. And it all got a bit exciting because a few people got hurt throwing them around a bit.
We had a little bit of a run-in with something like that a few years ago at Smithsonian.
It looks as if a former officer, Anam Patel, isn't what she claimed to be and appears to be leading Mile astray and encouraging him to perform these anti-imperialist, anti-empire acts. And I have no idea what she's got planned, but I suspect she's the one that stole the stone. Presumably to stop the coronation, but I don't trust her not to try something big, and I don't trust her not to use Mile to do it.
Nate, you have a brief on an Anam Patel. It's in your notes somewhere. You pull up on your phone. Born and raised in India, educated at the British School, then Oxford, course in archaeology, then disappeared, reappeared working for Police Scotland. Real change of direction. Earlier life had denoted some sympathies with groups that are on the CIA watch list. However, she disappeared from those and ended up working a significantly more mundane and simple job, and communications appeared to have ceased, although it is noted that she does have an active Tor account, which means she is accessing the dark web. Although the CIA has not been able to dismantle what she's using it for, they are aware that she's using it because the CIA does operate about half of the deep web and so does have ability to translate and follow some of the action there. She is briefed as the one most likely to have stolen the stone. And the important thing is that you should not interfere with the natural progression of that investigation.
All right, well, given my background, I'm assuming, number one, this is probably not the history that she gave to the Scottish police, in which case, given my background, I might know a little bit about creating false histories.
Oh, okay.
So if I can share what I've got and maybe take a look at what Police Scotland has, and maybe that'll tell me she must have had help somehow to make herself look all shiny bright.
Are you trying your luck on a specific skill, or are you arguing that this is covered by one of the skills that you have?
I'm wondering if I could make a case for a read person. I'm just trying to understand what makes her tick.
I think I'd want a research or a computer use rather than a read person. You need to get the data to interpret it.
Yeah, I can give that a shot. It's not exactly my strong suit.
You'll need to get to a computer to do that work, though.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm assuming we've finished the ice cream. We might as well head back to the manse. I mean, there's nothing more we can do here.
Sorry, I ordered a second one, but I can take it with us. It's not a problem.
I'll swear that man has caffeine running in his veins.
I did notice something. Lady Forth mentioned that the Mile left the city, that he crossed the bridges. I don't know how things work here, but back home, I don't always have to use a bridge to get across a river. So maybe we have 3 places to go and look at, see if there's any sign of something passing through.
Good point, Nathan. I see what you're saying there. But also, if Mile is radicalized by Patel here, Patel would need to use one of the bridges. So I think it's fair to say that Mile is traveling with Patel.
That would make sense to me.
The question hangs above all 3 of you. Where are they going?
What is there? I mean, they're not going to be going to Kirkcaldy or Weems. I mean, there's nothing there. Oh! See, I'm being slightly naughty looking at a map because my geography is terrible. But could Isabelle have an intelligence roll to see if she can figure something out?
Why don't you tell me what you figured out, what you think might be going on?
Well, I was looking at a certain internet map program, and if you follow that road that goes over the bridges, you end up at somewhere called Scone, north of Perth.
Scone.
Can't say Scone. I've spent my life saying Scone.
Isabelle, the stone is from a place in the centre of Scotland where they crowned the kings of old.
Isabelle, are you suggesting that Patel is trying to return the stone?
She's either trying to return the stone, or she's going to try and crown Mile king.
Bloody hell. I mean, it sounds like her MO. It's radicalization. It's yours taking this monarchy in a different direction. It all falls in what we know about Patel now. I think we'd better get some coffees and hit the road, don't you?
Yes, I think we should.
You all pile into the red beetle and you head on up to a place where it is not called Scone, it is called Scone.
Goon!
And you're making your way up into Perthshire, where the three of you drive your wee beetle, and it is about an hour getting up into Perthshire, driving around and driving into a little town called Scone. The three of you step out of the beetle and you look around, kind of confused. A regular little Scottish town. You're rushing around trying to figure out exactly where someone may have been found, exactly where the stone is meant to go. You open up into the park, the village green in the middle of the room. There, kicking his heels, sitting on a little stone, is Mile. Rhodri rushes towards him.
Can I grab Rhodri's arm?
Sure, give me a brawl.
I'll have you know, my athletics is 40. It's going to be very difficult to catch me.
That's a 19 under 80.
Rhodri, Nate's going to try and grab you.
Do I see it coming?
No, but I'll give you the chance to dodge or react in some way to this.
Shield.
Give me a magic roll.
Oh, 23 under 60.
So Nate, you go to grab him, but then this magical barrier just smashes you down and you fall back to the grass as Rhodri turns and starts walking towards Mile. And as he stands there in front of this child, he says,
My God, Mile, we've been worried about you, young man. Look, come here, look. Auntie Izzy's here as well to make sure everything's all right now, isn't it? Come on, young man, come on. You come with us now.
and Mile puts his hands up towards Rhodri.
Good lad.
Come on, Mile. I've got some fruit polos. And shall we go and find a nice sweetie shop where we can get some maybe sherbets?
And as Rhodri picks up Mile and puts him on his hip, Mile nods, smiling towards Auntie Izzy, and the two of them head back towards the Red Beetle. And that is where we will end episode 2 of The Stone of Scone.
And everything was perfectly fine.
There are no problems at all.
It's never that easy.